Sunlight fades into darkness without a word said. Flickering shadows and monstrous shapes spread. No time to sit and cower in fear. With cold dread, evil lurks near. Feel the terror without a speck of light. We must get up and prepare to fight. The horror elements of Doom are of great importance to me. It's easy to discount them today when looking at it 3 decades later. You had to be at a young, impressionable age for something in this game to scare you. Beyond all the fast-paced action, Doom is supposed to get under your skin. It's always the little stuff that we remember, just like the scary stories that we used to hear in the dark before bedtime. Nightfall is a single-level WAD for the original Doom created by Joshua Fallon and released on June 5, 1994. In the text file has a story. Night has finally fallen and all hell has broken loose. You wake up in a pool of blood watching your buddy get tortured. You'll put an end to that. Watch out as you go outside and collect everything needed to open the last door that leads to a safe place to wait for sunrise. Some doors are opened by switches. Test out the machine near the end and save often. The Temple of Demons is a good place to save as well. Josh credits Tom Davis for helping with the temple design and Red Turnbull for playtesting. I decided to review this WAD because it is one of the earliest examples of a horror-themed adventure map in Doom. This WAD has great atmosphere and therefore I am enhancing this grim mood with music by the great Aubrey Hodges from the PlayStation Doom soundtrack. Nightfall is known for the skybox graphic that is credited in the text file to Doomsday of UAC. I imagine that's where a lot of people first heard about this WAD. There are 3 custom graphics used. We will witness them together. I will play through the level and go for 100% secrets. This WAD was troublesome with my source port. I found it impossible to get 100% kills due to bugs related to comp levels. I ran it with several comp settings and couldn't get certain enemies to spawn in. I apologize for this. If I could do 100% kills, I would. DSDA Doom is my source port of choice. I keep everything strictly vanilla and play on ultraviolence difficulty, the gentleman's way of playing Doom. We awaken in a bad dream. We're surrounded by the bodies of our dead brothers in arms. This zombified sergeant is torturing our buddy. I am sorry, friend, for your life cannot be saved. Do know your death will be avenged. With the shotgun, we open the door and step into the blackness of night. Pinky's worship at a demonic altar until lost souls disturb them. After taking care of everything, we can have a look around this central hub area. Candles on the ground create some dim lights. No moon in the sky to illuminate the area. There are 6 doors, only 2 that we can possibly enter at this very moment. The brown door with skulls opens with a rocket launcher. Imps awaken from cages on both sides as we carefully go down the spiraling stairs. Into a room of ankle-high blood. Shotgunners and imps are on both sides. Once they're dead, we flip the switch and part the Red Sea with a rising staircase. Another switch lowers the ledges and the red bars surrounding the elevator. Up here, a creek rises amidst the glowing rock pillars. More sergeants and imps to gun down. Behind one of these pillars is a switch. It lowers the blood creek back down and we can enter this cave for a secret chainsaw and 2 more former humans who need to be slain. The yellow skull key is ours. Retracing the path, we finally take care of the caged imps around the spiraling stairs. Back outside in the central hub, we have the choice of the yellow key door or this area. I say we take this door. We finally have armor. This room contains a crusher in the center, small square-sized radiation pits in the corners with imps and caged areas around the crusher. One imp has already been flattened. The imps in cages are the only thing worth shooting, but they're not a concern at the moment. Push forward through the wooden corridors. Back outside with a hint of marble. 2 shotgunners to kill next. The altar has heavy shadows around it, hinting at the significance it carries around the demon's domain under the blackened sky. Picking up the berserk does this. Up the row of steps and down a marble corridor to a switch. Who is this? Eyes glowing red with evil. 3 specters have teleported in around the altar. Another path has emerged from a fallen wall. Twisting and turning through cliff rocks with sergeants and lava pits. The path ends at a teleporter in red bricks. This cacodemon is not alone. On both sides sit a spare plasma rifle. Firing at him once causes 2 more cacodemons to hiss from below, alerted to our presence. Back outside, another wall is lowering to reveal the next switch. Now we can backtrack to the previous room. Crushers have activated in the radiation pits, flattening the imps we ignored. Picking up the blue key will cause some imps and a baron to teleport in. You can stand here behind the crusher and lead them to get squished. If you want that green armor and the blur sphere inside the cages, you just wait for the crusher to rise and enter from the middle here. In both cages, you can leave from the opposite side. So far, so good. We have obtained 2 keys and now have the choice to enter the blue or yellow door. I find the blue door's appearance to be more sinister. It opens to demonic skin walls and a shifting wall of souls, teleporting us into a square room covered in Baphomet pentagrams. In this hallway, imps hide in the dark between each lamppost. Opening the door to a set of cacodemons and 2 imps in each corner. The invulnerability will come in handy as the walls fall and a baron lunges in our face. This is a good time to put the berserk fist to use and do some punching. Through the hallway and back to the Baphomet room, lost souls have teleported in. The Baron was guarding a floor that rises to a higher area. One side leads to a switch, the other teleports us back outside. Returning to the hallway of green torches, there is a path in the pitch black darkness. Down here, the wooden corridor leads to a soul sphere behind a tripwire, something we haven't seen before. An imp was telefragged while several sets of red eyes in the wall glare at us. Evil lurks. We can feel it among us in this room. One of these faces is a fake wall leading us out. As above, as below, under Baphomet's walls, a new path has opened. A small-scale labyrinth with flickering candlelight showing us the way. Sergeants, imps, specters, and pinkies stomp around. The mist-colored pillar is a hint. Press it and a wall raises for the next secret area. Light amplification goggles sit for those afraid of the dark. I don't think we need them. We have the courage to continue fighting until dawn. The eye switch lowers a pillar down another dimly lit hallway. A soul sphere is the risky reward for playing with the Crusher. Another switch to press. falling down, one after the other, descending into the depths of red bricks. A cacodemon hisses from below, waiting for us. 2 more shotgunners and another switch. We are done with this area and can now return to the central hub. It is time to open the yellow key door and enter a new area. Down another spiraling corridor. We have now stumbled upon an unholy temple. We have ventured deep into the demon's territory. They are aware of how far we have made it. Cacodemons, imps, specters, pinkies, sergeants, and barons stand ready on guard to fight us. Going around the opposite side of this giant room, looking at the hellhole in the blood. There's an arrow in the floor we ran over to cause the pillar to emerge from the blood. Along the way, it's just a race against time to keep the demons at bay. Now another pillar is rising. The BFG was at the center of the pit all this time. Take one last look at the bloody pit. As we climb the stairs, something begins to fall. Each time you ascend the stairs, more pillars fall, isolating you at the temple tower. At the top are 3 faces carved in marble. Behind them all is the next switch. Watch the pillar rise to the top. Now we must fall into the molten lake of fire below and find a teleporter. It takes us to this room with 3 pillars of skulls, 2 cacodemons and a baron. Running across the pillars leads to another teleporter. Behind us is a set of wooden stairs. Into this room full of tortured bodies is the next switch. This path leads to an empty room with a dead imp. Returning to the temple, we venture around the other side. A hidden passage has been revealed in the dark. And now the red key is ours. A backpack and cell ammo sit close by. A misaligned texture hinting at us to press this wall. 1 specter and another pair of light amplification goggles is the reward for this secret. We are brave and don't need the additional light. Back in here, a wall has dropped on both sides to allow imps to move in the shadows. Once they are put down, the switch reopens the way out, and now we can return to the central area and see what awaits us there. A new path. Red key. Blue key. Yellow key. The switch opens the next and final area. Marble walls and rows of piled bloody skulls tell us how far the demon's territory extends. Down the elevator we descend, taking us to what was once a UAC complex that the demons have claimed. Going down, down, down into the lungs of hell. Around this cacodemon are lost souls. More fly out of the portals. Both windows show us a view of the mountains across hell. Going back to the elevator, we can hop off and go behind this one to get the final secret. The door there does not work. I think we found a secret bunker down below. With 2 paths to explore, we take the left-hand path first. The switch lowers a pathway with 3 imps. Through the teleporter, we go deeper into the base. In here is a very special piece of technology that will help us. The switches control the red holes. The tripwires turn it off and on. Open this door to see the bearings. We've activated the crusher and they're stuck. Safety bars did the trick on one. In here is nothing but a stim pack. This is an elevator. Blue installation walls lead into the power room. The shotgunners were guarding the next switch. Retracing our footsteps, it's time to go down the right path. A dark room with flickering lights and imps. What is this exactly? Oh no. Hell is taking over and we see more of our brothers in arms suffering, tortured by these wicked fiends. Like our buddy in the start, we can't save them, but we will remember them for every demon we kill. Vengeance comes from the barrels of our guns. Down the elevator into blood. More shotgunners from afar. What have we stumbled upon now? Hell has more control of this base deep within. Oh no. Tortured souls still alive as they are plunged into hell. The last switch. Now we must go back one final time and check the door to the bunker. This is the final battle before the exit. Imps and shotgunners. In the honor of our tortured brothers, let there be jibs on this final demon. And now we have a safe haven to wait for the morning sunrise. What a wild ride that was. This is a large-scale level for 1994. 217 total monsters, 195 in PR Boom source ports which I used for this run. Lost souls were discounted. At the core, it's a switch hunt through a non-linear labyrinth. There are many paths you could take searching for the keys. Every switch must be pressed. If you miss one, the section with the 3 key doors don't open. The maze section that opens from the Baphomet Square rooms looks like E3M2. I like the use of candle decorations to cast light shading. There isn't a whole lot to say about the combat because it's easy. Despite using 2 cyber demons on the title screen, they don't appear at all. The toughest fight is the temple room with all the monsters and multiple barons, and even that is easy. In the end, you may have been expecting a bigger fight. It's a letdown to just go through more shotgunners and imps. I don't think combat and monster density were important factors for the map designer. This level has incredible atmosphere, hence why I decided to use the PlayStation Doom music. I hope my narration kept you all entertained. This is the real strengths of the map. It has good use of decorations and lighting. And this is in spite of the goofy photo with the red eyes. I assume that was Josh Fallon himself putting his face in the game. I found it to be funny, and when I was narrating, it was the most difficult part to keep a serious tone about. I really wanted to make a joke about it because it's the kind of silly humor that I like to see in old 90s WADs. Someone makes a level for Doom and puts their own face in it. It's the creator reminding you not to take it too seriously. We all have to laugh at ourselves every once in a while. I like the Crusher Trap in the end. This is the machine referenced in the text file. I found it funny how the red key bars can crush the barons once they're stuck. When you enter the flickering room and see the tortured Marines on the poles and then the red rocks that come through the floor, that is brilliant. I love stuff like this. Environmental storytelling that does far more than any kind of lore writing. Then you see it again with the hanging Marine decorations on the pillars going through the floor. Imagine playing this back in the mid-90s. I often describe that decoration as morbid, but that sequence makes it all more scary. The hanging Marines move. They're still alive as they're put down on the floor. The skull elevator is one of my favorite parts in this level. It's some of the best use of the skull textures I've seen in an old map. There's a part in Doom 3 after the Hell level where you're back in the base. You enter an elevator that has a window, and as it slowly falls, you see Hell through the glass. That's what the skull elevator reminded me of. It's a little detail, but works effectively at creating atmosphere in the general mood. I love Doom 3, and I find it to be more in line with the original game than the newer ones. That's an unpopular opinion on the internet, I know, but I'm honest, in my opinion. Doom was always supposed to be scary. Doom 3 has an excellent atmosphere, and I like just playing as a Marine that I can use my imagination with and pretend that's me in the game. I've never liked the whole Doomslayer stuff, and turning the Marine into this overpowered, godlike superhero character with a big backstory and all this deep lore. I don't think Doom Guy is a character. That's meant to be you in the game. Doom 3 did this well with the Marine character that you could immerse yourself into. I believe our imaginations are very powerful when we allow our thoughts to roam free. Not everything needs a bunch of lore and fandom Wikipedia pages to explain everything. That basically handcuffs your imagination. We don't need a multiverse or a bunch of stuff tied into a canon timeline. Just let your imagination go off. Let it think and develop new perspectives about something. That's how new ideas are formed to become fully original stories. The imagination is powerful, something to always keep in mind. In the text file, Josh Fallon included this funny comment to describe himself. This guy spends way too much time playing Doom. He needs to skydive a bit more and graduate. He had an email address to link to the US Air Force Academy. That would explain his joke about skydiving. One of my main motivations in creating videos like this covering old Doom levels is to preserve the history. I believe it is important to keep records of the past. Doom has such a rich history of map design and going back to the beginning and seeing the many influences present. Back in the days of the old internet, there were many people who just made a few maps as a hobby and then went offline. It was a different time. The internet was still disconnected from the real world in a sense. You weren't online 24/7. You could log off and live in the real world. Many of the old mappers were hobbyists. They made stuff for Doom in their youth and then moved on with their lives. These maps are like ghosts from a past life. I imagine many of the map designers from Doom's early years are now older, in their 50s, and settled down with families. Maybe one day they'll get curious and look up their old creations online and look back at their youth. That's one of the reasons I make these videos. To Josh, thank you for making this Doom level, and thank you for your service. I'm always proud to support our veterans, on active duty or retired. You made something special in Doom, and I want you to know that someone appreciates it some 30-odd years later. Thank you for watching.